Hey guys, so we've been talking about community helpers. So this is just a cool book that talks about lots of different jobs you can choose from besides the ones we already know. So when I grow up, I waited so long for the hour to pass, but it was soon noon there in Mrs. Krupp's class, and Thursday at noon, as I'm sure you all know, is the time of the week when we do show and tell. And this week, the subject so special to me was when I grow up, what am I going to be? That's something I'd really been thinking about, and I just couldn't wait to let all those thoughts out. So when Mrs. Krupp said, "Who's ready to share?" you can guess who was there with his hand in the air. I raised both my hands just as high as they'd go, and I bounced up and down, and then what do you know? Well, Mrs. Krupp picked yet me, yes, me to go first. I was so happy I thought I would burst. I proudly stood up and began my oration concerning my choice for a future vocation. Esteemed friends and colleagues, and dear Mrs. Krupp, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. Why, I'll be the greatest chef you have ever seen. The world will go crazy for my hot cuisine. I'll tantalize taste buds with my rigatoni, sautéed with black truffles and pickled bologna, surrounded by kumquats and candied pig's feet, topped with shrimp-flavored lollipops. Bon appetit! My walls will be filled with awards that I've gotten for toast on a stick and my Twinkies au gratin. My kitchen will be the most famous in France, so make reservations 12 years in advance. There's no doubt about it, I'm certain you see, a world-renowned chef is what I'm going to be. That's very nice, Billy, said Mrs. Krupp. Who wants to be next? Maybe Susie or Fred? I said, hold the phone now. I haven't departed. Hang on to your seats because I'm just getting started. So maybe instead I could be a snail trainer. Do you think that's a real thing? A snail trainer? Probably not. Man, that would be awesome. Why, that's a no-brainer. I'll teach all my snails to do really neat tricks. They'll play dead, roll over, and even fetch sticks. And of course, all the sticks will come back 2 years later. But working with snails, I mean, what could be greater? They'll do any stunt I like. Holy moly, I'll train them to pedal a bike really slowly. Then ooze through a huge ring of fire and crawl at a snail's pace across a huge wire. Then finish my writing my name with their trails. That's right, I'll be Billy, the master of snails. Or maybe I'll be a lath operator who makes hydraulic torque wrench calibrator, which fine-tunes the wrench that's specifically made to retighten the nuts on the lateral blade that's directly beneath the main radial sockets inside the cooling systems on X-14 rockets. And since this profession's as cool as can be, well, who would be better at it than me? That sounds like a crazy job as well. Say, here's an idea, perhaps just for laughs. I might make my living by milking giraffes. It's so cliche to get milk from a cow, and I bet all those cows need a break anyhow. Imagine me milking way up in the air. I'd use a tall ladder instead of a chair. Could you imagine watching someone milk a giraffe? Seems pretty crazy. What? See, even his teacher. Milking giraffes? Mrs. Krupp said. Oh, please, I countered. How else do we make giraffe cheese? Now, don't interrupt me. I'm really not through yet. There's still lots of stuff that I'm planning to do yet. Because maybe I'll be a gorilla masseuse. Or an artist who sculpts out of chocolate mousse, or a rodeo clown, or a movie director, or maybe professional pickle inspector, or big sumo wrestler, or hedge fund investor, or smelly pit sniffing deodorant tester. Or I'll be an expert on nuclear fission, or else a foot model, or friendly mortician, or waiter, or skater, or master debater, or dinosaur dusting museum curator, or TV repairman, or sidewalk sign waver, or part-time assistant tarantula shaver. And that's about when Mrs. Krupp said, now, Billy, please make up your mind. This is getting quite silly. Which one of these things are you going to choose? I shuffled around, and I looked at my shoes. And finally, I said, my great-grandfather Bob's been a whole lot of things. Had a whole bunch of jobs, a butcher, a barber, a bellman, a bouncer, a telephone psychic, and bingo announcer. And know what? He just turned 103, and he's still not quite sure what he wants to be. See, I'm only 8 now, so frankly, I'm hoping you'll cut me some slack if I leave options open. Let's just wait and find out what my future brings. Hey, I might have time to do all of those things. And then the bell rang and we all went to lunch. And as I was sipping my pineapple punch, I pondered professions that I'd like to enter, like brave firefighter or crazy inventor. Or maybe, just maybe now, when I grow up, I can be a great teacher like dear Mrs. Krupp. And he made Teacher Billy for Mrs. Krupp. Love Billy. So even after all of those crazy things that he wanted to be, he decided maybe he's going to be a teacher. So maybe you'll decide on something you want to be that's different than what we voted on in class. And maybe you think of something. So tomorrow, have your mom send me a message of what of all the jobs you would want to be. All right? Have a good night and see you tomorrow.